Well, this is story number 2 for Quack Quacks Adventures in Puddleton. And this story is called Quack Quacks Day Trip. The sun was shining when Quack Quack woke up on Saturday morning, and she decided that since it was such a nice day, she would invite her best friend, Herbie Bear, out on a picnic. She walked round to his cottage and knocked on his front door. Herbie answered the door and was delighted to see Quack Quack. "Good morning, Herbie," she said. "Since it's such a lovely day, would you like to come on a picnic with me?" "That sounds a great idea," said Herbie. "I'll make some sandwiches and bring something to drink." "And I'll bring some homemade cake and a flask of tea," replied Quack Quack. "Oh, I'm getting really excited now." An hour later, Herbie and Quack Quack had packed their picnic into the back of her bright yellow car and drove off to Puddleton Country Park. "We'll find a nice place to park and walk down to the lake and have our picnic there," said Quack Quack. "That sounds an excellent idea," replied Herbie. As they approached the park, Herbie could see a few dark clouds in the sky and became a little bit worried. "Is it going to rain today, Quack Quack? Because I can see some rain clouds in the distance." "No," replied Quack Quack, "not as far as I know. The weather report said sunshine all day." "Good," said Herbie with some relief. "Those clouds must be moving away from us then." Quack Quack parked the car, and with the sun shining down on them, they walked down the footpath which led to the lake in the country park, with their picnic baskets and drinks. Herbie laid out a big rug on the ground, and they sat down to a lovely picnic. There were egg and cress sandwiches, cheese and tomato sandwiches, and Herbie had bought 2 bottles of juice as well. After they'd eaten as much as they could, Quack Quack got out a delicious cream sponge cake and poured them both a cup of tea. The view over the lake was lovely, with beautiful clear waters and lush trees on the far side. Quack Quack and Herbie both lay down on the rug, and, with their tummies full, they soon fell asleep in the afternoon sunshine. Quack Quack woke up with a start. An hour or more had passed, and so had the sunny weather. The sky had turned very dark, and spots of rain were starting to fall on her head. She shook Herbie to wake him up. "Herbie, wake up! The weather's really changed and it started raining," Quack Quack shrieked. Herbie jumped up and could see how threatening the sky was, and it was raining quite heavily. "Quick, let's pack everything up and get back to the car before we get soaking wet," he called to Quack Quack. As fast as they could, they bundled everything together and dashed up the footpath to the car park. Reaching the car, Herbie put all the picnic things in the boot, and they quickly got inside to drive home. But try as she might, Quack Quack couldn't start her car. She kept turning the key, but the engine just wouldn't start. "Oh no," wailed Quack Quack. "What are we going to do now? I can't start my car, and we certainly can't walk all the way back to the village in this weather," she said. "Oh, what a mess we're in," groaned Herbie. "And I need to get home as my friend Otto is waiting for me for tea." At that moment, they both heard a rumbling sound and the crunch of tyres over the gravel. Quack Quack turned round to see what the noise was and quacked with delight. "Herbie, it's Monty Moose from the village garage. How lucky we are. He'll be able to get us to get this car started." Herbie hurried out of the car and ran to Monty's van through the rain. "Oh, Monty, are we pleased to see you," he said. "Quack Quack's car won't start and we're stuck in the rain. Can you help us?" "Of course I can," said Monty. "I'll have a quick look under the bonnet and I'm sure it'll be fixed in no time." With that, Monty got out of his van and started looking at the engine in Quack Quack's car, umming and ahhing and occasionally scratching his antler. "Ah," he finally said, "I've found the problem, a loose wire. I'll have it fixed in a jiffy." 5 minutes later, Quack Quack turned the key in the car and the engine started first time. "Oh, thank you so much, Monty," she shouted over the noise of the engine. "No problem at all," he smiled, and with that, Quack Quack and Herbie drove back to Puddleton. Later that day, when the rain had stopped and the sun had come out, Quack Quack walked along the lane to Monty's garage with a homemade sponge cake. Monty was busy in his workshop repairing another car and stopped when he saw Quack Quack coming in. I've brought you round a lovely cake to say thank you for helping us out earlier, said Quack Quack. Well, that's really kind of you. Thank you so much, replied Monty. Matilda and I will enjoy this with a cup of tea this evening. It was no trouble helping a friend in need, and I happened to be passing, so I was glad to be of assistance. With that, Quack Quack said goodbye to Monty and walked back to Drake Cottage, pleased to know that she had given one good deed deserves another.